Welcome to the SMS Podcast. I'm here today to talk about the new Brad Pitt, George Clooney movie, Wolves with the F. It's directed by that hack, Jon Watts, the guy who directed all those Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. He also directed this one other movie called Cop Car, Kevin Bacon. That shit was whack. But this movie is actually pretty decent. So what is this movie about? It's very basic. It's about these two fixers that get set up, but you don't find that out until the very end of the movie. So Amy Ryan is in this movie. She plays a white Kamala Harris. She had this one-night stand with Austin Abrams, the guy from Euphoria who played Kat's boyfriend. And he dies somehow. He slips off the bed, some stupid shit. He's high as fuck. So George Clooney eventually pulls up. He starts cleaning up. Someone else shows up, and that someone is Bradley Pitt. So, of course, there's conflict between Brad Pitt and George Clooney. They're like, well, I work alone. No, I work alone. Blah, 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 blah. George Clooney realizes that there is a camera in their hotel room. So that makes Clooney and Amy Ryan paranoid. But eventually Amy Ryan leaves and Clooney tells her, you have nothing to worry about. We'll take care of this. There's a scene I thought was pretty funny of George Clooney cleaning up the body, and we get this blatant endorsement from Coca-Cola in which Brad Pitt's just sipping on this Coke watching George Clooney dump the body. So eventually they realize that there's something off about this. Brad Pitt finds his book bag full of heroin or Coke. I have no idea. So they realize that he had to be a drug runner. So we then get this cool scene of George Clooney dumping out this body, and we still get this banter between them. Basically, George Clooney rolls out this luggage cart with the body in it, and the body lands into the trunk. The cart bounces off the car and lands back in the elevator. Thought it was pretty neat. But then the kid wakes up because he wasn't dead after all. They almost get caught up in it, but they get away. Then we get this weird needle drop of Sade, smooth operator. Because get it, they're smooth operators. So they then take the kid to this doctor or vet, like in every crime movie or TV show, they always go to a vet. I assume they're banging, but then you find out they're not really banging her. Brad Pitt was just messing around with George Clooney. But of course, the kid escapes, and we get this long-ass scene of the kid running from Brad Pitt and George Clooney. George Clooney's chasing him in his car, and Brad Pitt's chasing him on foot. You think it ends with the kid getting hit in midair, which I thought was pretty funny. He gets hit in midair, and it literally turns into a Zack Snyder scene. For sure, I thought the kid broke his hip because he gets hit by the fucking car. But no, it barely grazes him, and he stays running. But eventually, they do catch up to him, and they find out that he's not really a drug mule. He's really doing this shit for his friend, which was stupid. And that he's supposed to hand over these drugs to someone named LaGrange, but he doesn't know what the address is. It's on this pager, and he said he kept the pager at a bar. So they take him to this bar, and it's hosting a bar mitzvah or a wedding party. So when they arrive at the party, they both realize that they used to work for the same guy. It's a Croatian mob boss. It's the guy from the movie Pusher. They go to the party. They get caught up in this dance, and the guy from Pusher recognizes them, and they act like they're beefing. They pull their guns out, and the guy from Pusher is like, no, don't do this. Relax. And Brad Pitt leaves. He tells George Clooney, stay, have a drink. And one of the guys that works for him realizes that the guns were missing the top part. So they leave the party that they're at, and they go off to a diner, and they're still confused about what's really going on. But they do get the address to the pager, and we get this dumb movement. The whole movie, they make a reference to their ages. Like, they go on their knees, and you can hear their back pop. And we see that they put on their reading glasses, which is so stupid. So they get the address to the drop point. But when they get there, after they drop the kid off and he goes inside, they start to get shot up by the Croatians' men. They shoot up George Clooney's car. All that really happens is that George Clooney's car gets fucked up. So eventually they go to the trunk and instantly kill him. So then they hear gunshots and they go inside the warehouse and they see that everyone is dead. And we get this scene in which George Clooney ponders over whether he should kill the kid or not. But of course, he's got a soft spot for the kid and he doesn't kill him. And you think that Brad Pitt's gonna shoot him, but he actually shoots the bag of drugs. You see that the drug has a tracker on them. So after they leave, they're on the subway. And we get this other dumb moment in which you think that George Clooney got shot, but it's just a fake out and George Clooney flips off Brad Pitt. So they drop the kid off to his house and his dad is Richard Kind and he's obsessed with Frank Sinatra. It was so pointless because it's literally less than 30 seconds. They immediately leave the house and they're like, let's go eat at a diner, fuck it. So they're talking about what happened the whole night and they realize that, oh shit, I think we got set up. It's so obvious that they're gonna get shot up by the people outside, even though it makes no sense. Who set them up? Why did they get set up? Why was Amy Ryan in it? Who knows? The end. But yeah, let's get into the positives and negatives. Positives I have to this movie, obviously George Clooney and Brad Pitt, they carry the whole movie. If only they had a better director to... I also thought that Austin Abrams, the kid in this movie, was really good. He does this monologue in which he's explaining what happened before he ended up in Amy Ryan's hotel room. I thought the movie was pretty funny. It could have been better, but obviously they're held back by the director. So let's get to the negatives. Obviously, this movie is lacking a lot, and it's mostly carried by Brad Pitt and George Clooney for this one big reason. Because of the director, obviously, Jon Watts is a fucking hack. How are you such a lame director, and this is like your fifth movie? Also, this movie feels like such a Ocean's 11 ripoff that would have came out in 2011 or 2012, but it just came out in 2024. It makes no sense. I've even mentioned the wildest thing about this movie, that the budget of this movie is literally $200 million. It's absolutely insane. Most of the money went to Brad Pitt and George Clooney. They both got paid $35 million each, obviously, because where did the money go? How is this movie $200 million? At most, you would think this movie's $50 million. Nothing really goes on in this movie other than them driving around place to place. And there's not even any other big stars. That isn't George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Amy Ryan's not a big star. But yeah, it's just insane. $200 million for this shit is out of control. It is better than Argylle, which is also $200 million. But in that movie, I guess you can see how they spent $200 million on it. Not really, because of all the CGI and green screen. And this movie is just a straight up crime thriller. But yeah, I do think it's decent. I would recommend it. I would give it either a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Bye.